Broccoli and cauliflower are man-made. It was carefully bred by Italian farmers more than 2,000 years ago, carefully breeding different types of wild cabbage to create it. What is one fact you know that will make other people respond with, and why the duck do you know that? What's going on, Brachacho? It's you boy Andrew, back again with another story time. Since you're already here, can hit that MF like button? And subscribe for more stories. If you do, I'll buy you some jewel pods. Anyways, let's get into the stories. MLB umpires are required to wear black underwear in case their pants split during a game. Mammals from house cats to elephants take about the same time to urinate. Open the guts of a body before disposing in water so they won't inflate and are able to sink all the way to the bottom. It takes more than 6 standard concrete blocks to hold a human body underwater after death. Don't buy rabbit already skinned and gutted. Could well be cat. They look really similar if it's already skinned, you need to see the kidneys to tell they're installed in a different config. Second, don't make risky meat purchases from a Sunday market trailer in a shady part of town. The slitting of the front of the throat is much more improbable than most people realize, given a bone is actually blocking the spot that most see in movies, TV shows. If, in fact, a movie wanted to be more realistic, they would instead have the sides of the throat slit because of the main artery that sits in that spot. This is something my bio teacher taught me last year. Basically, male barnacles have the longest penis to body ratio, and the penis actually extends out of the barnacle and goes searching around for female barnacles to have sex with. Male bedbugs try to sexually penetrate everything they come into contact with, even people. Bedbug awareness is incredibly important. Make sure you guys check yourselves. They are very sneaky. Siblings, or parents and children, that were separated from one another at birth or a very young age, are often extremely sexually attracted to one another if they meet later in life. The phenomenon is called genetic attraction. Didn't think it was weird to know this until I shared with my boyfriend, and he was totally weirded out. Thanks, Svu. Since frogs have long tongues, they can't use it to push food down their throat like humans do, so when they have food in their mouths, they close their eyes and push the food down their throats with their eyeballs. Why is goose geese, but moose is not meese? Well, I'm glad you asked. Goose has Germanic origins and thus follows the Germanic pluralization in the same manner as foot to feet, tooth to teeth, etc. However, the word moose was incorporated into the English language some 200 years later and has Native American origins. Yay! The largest walnut grove in the world is located outside the small village of Arslanbab in mountainous southern Kyrgyzstan. Local oral legend has it the grove was planted by a migrant wiseman nicknamed Arslan the Wanderer. DNA analysis of the trees has confirmed they are not native to the region, and the local population came to the area from a related batch of seeds about 1,000 years ago. After Alois Alzheimer gave the first ever speech describing the symptoms of Alzheimer's disease. No one in the audience asked him any questions or made any follow-up comments because they were all much more excited to hear the next guy on the list give a speech about compulsive masturbation. Anybody who has ever had to write a paper knows what 12-point font is. This point system relates to measurements for fonts, type, and certain design elements. 12 points go into 1 pica, and 6 pica go into 1 inch. While sizes vary from font to font even within the relative standardization of font sizes, if you need font that is about 1 inch tall, you want 72-point font because 6 pica times 12 points is 72. For 2-inch font, 144, for 3-inch font 216, and so on. When the Pilgrims first landed in America, they found these weird dirt mounds in a field. So they dug them up and discovered they were Native American graves. Oops. They returned everything, but then came back later to take the cooking pots and utensils that had been buried with the corpses. They apparently packed really light on the way over and didn't bring basic household essentials. Which would be really useful in, oh I don't know, starting a ducking colony. If you are stranded on a desert island with only the bodies of other people as a source of food, you will want to only eat the legs, arms, and butt, as they are the most easily prepared parts of the human body. All other parts are either too close to vital, bacteria-infested organs or are just unsafe to eat in general, e.g. the brain. The legs, arms and butt can be easily cooked over a small fire to make it safe to eat, even though the actual caloric intake of human flesh is nutritionally less viable than most other animals. Edit. People keep asking why eating the brain and other parts might be terrible. Here is a link to a video about it. Regarding the Museum of Mummies, Ferdinand I of Naples governed by oppression. He had zero compassion for his defeated enemies, and after falsely promising them amnesty, he had them murdered instead. After their murders, he would have them mummified and added to his museum of mummies dressed in their clothes. If he thought anyone was plotting against him, he'd simply take them on a casual tour of the museum, which was totally morbid, but effective. If you're trying to destroy a body, a strong base will be much more successful than a strong acid. Acids are difficult to legally acquire due to them being ingredients in explosives. Caustic soda is much more useful and accessible, as it's an ingredient in soaps. Once it's done, you'll have a liquid that you can then place in barrels and bury somewhere. Even the bones will be broken down to an extremely brittle calcium deposit, which you can easily crush and filter off. You can then dispose of the liquid as you wish. It makes great fertilizer. Alternatively, use pigs. They eat anything and will leave no traces. And once again, pig crap is great fertilizer. Edit. Christ, what a way to reach 100k karma. Most birds don't have intermittent reproductive organs, like a penis or vagina, and they share their genes through a hole, called a cloaca, that leads to their inner organs. The act is called a cloacal kiss and is over super fast. Most duck species, however, do have intermittent organs. The penis is shaped like a corkscrew and can be 50% or more of the length if the duck in some species. This is because the vagina is an elaborate maze of twists and turns, creating an evolutionary arms race between the sexes. The longest duck dick award goes to the Argentine lake duck. Though he is a mere 15 inches long, his dangling corkscrew is up to 16 inches erect. Now that's gotta produce some drag. Edit. People seem to struggle with the why females resist mating. Much like humans, female ducks like to choose the best male to reproduce with. They will make themselves available to the males they prefer, and this mechanism allows them to resist advances from the males they don't deem worthy. Erections that last more than 4 hours are considered bad because the buildup of deoxygenated blood causes the dick to be disfigured and later cause gangrene. It's called priapism, and it's also extremely painful. In extreme cases, the penis is numbed with a local anesthetic, and blood is removed from the penis with needles and syringes. Don't take ED pills if you don't need them. Edit. As numerous people have pointed out, yes, the name is derived from the Greek god Priapus, who was regularly depicted with a massive organ. And there are many causes of priapism. Bites from certain venomous bugs, including the Brazilian wandering spider, side effects of other medications, including trazodone, spinal cord injuries, gout, STDs, sickle cell disease, cancers of the penis, etc. Also, if bloodletting with syringes is not successful, more extreme measures must be taken. These measures include the use of a scalpel and are even more graphic in nature. I'm sure you can use your imagination. It takes 2 to 3 days to cremate a body on a standard bonfire. Edit. So I've never had a comment get such an insane number of upvotes and replies before, not even close. Wow. A lot of people are asking how I know this, so I figured I'd explain. I studied for a rather specific master's degree around psychological trauma. It was particularly pertinent to the Army, so within our small class were a few officers from the Army being sent to touch up their learning. One of them was an Army doctor who had been with them for more than 30 years. Can't remember exactly how the conversation got to this point, but he made some quip about having to burn a body and it taking 2 or 3 days to burn on a bonfire. We asked him why he was burning a body, and his only response was we weren't allowed to bury it. We never could convince him to elaborate further. It turned out that one of his deployments was to Rwanda as part of Operation Gabriel immediately after the genocide. If I had to guess, it might have been something to do with that. When dealing with more than 1 million dead bodies, many were likely never identified or claimed by next of kin, And perhaps for some reason this one couldn't be buried with the others. Again, this is purely speculation, so take it with a pinch of salt. Thanks for watching. What did you think of the story time? Let me know in the comments below. If you liked the video, smash that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any more story times.